Hello class, this is Brother Siemens. We're going to give another shot at this video. This week we're talking about the book of Jacob. Within the book of Jacob is Jacob chapter 5, which is his allegory about an olive tree. So there's a couple things I'd like to point out. A lot of it is in the Institute manual. But an allegory is a story. It's much like a parable. It's where you use the skill of apperception, where you take something that your audience perceives and understands, it's physical, that is known, and then you relate it to something that's spiritual. So they know olive trees, they know olive orchards. Olive was something that they would use all throughout their life as the children of Israel, and so to compare them to an olive orchard, they would totally understand. So when it's all said and done, at the end of this chapter and the end of this week, I really just ask the Lord, what's the one thing you want me to understand from this allegory? It could be about his dealings with the children of Israel over time. It could be what he's going to do in the latter days, or it can be individual, what he's going to do with you. So a couple questions I wanted to answer. Olives, again, used throughout their lives. They would use it for light. They'd use it for spiritual purposes, anointings. They'd use it for medical reasons, and they'd use it for cooking. So it permeates their whole life. You could work on an olive tree. You would plant it. It would take you 12 years on average, 12 to 14 years, before you'd even know if that tree that you planted and worked would produce good fruit. So just imagine all the work involved and all the time and energy and space, not even knowing if it would produce and waiting. If you know the allegory, you can answer that one. The pruning, the digging, the dunging, the watering, the sun, all these things that were given to help a tree grow. And then lastly, the whole reason to have a tree wasn't for shade. The whole reason to have a tree was for the fruit. And if a tree couldn't bear fruit that was useful for the vineyard master, then it's good for nothing to be hewn down and cast into the fire. So here's a little bit of perspective. Here's that same olive tree, and there's an individual. These things are massive. If you spend all that time work, a tree could last up to 1,000 years. And when it would start to die and decay, it's still not lost, because all you'd have to do is cut down that tree right at the base, and then new shoots would pop out the bottom. So again, when you look at Israel and God destroying Israel, or God letting them be scattered, it's not as if he's knocking down the whole tree. It's that he's cutting down the bad parts of the tree, and giving the other tree an opportunity to grow. So this is just a quote from Elder Holland that just talks about God uses this figurative language with children of Israel and olives throughout the Book of Mormon. So here's a couple of phrases I wanted you to pay attention to. I've asked, at least mention it in my notes, and I think in a couple of you others, just as a heads up, pay attention to how God or the Lord feels when he sees the fruit, and he sees that it's good or bad. And these are just all, things where he's kind of frustrated. But look at that, what could I have done more? What could the Lord have done more for us? It grieveth me that I should lose them, the fruit, the individuals. He has to cut them down. It grieves him that he has to do that. Stretch forth my hand all the day long. You got a prophet in that last one saying, let's not knock the tree down yet. Let's not burn it. Let's spare it just a little longer. Makes you wonder if our prophets have the same conversation with the Lord today as the sin is permeating the world. Do we have prophets saying, please, not yet. Not yet. There's good fruit out there. There's good individuals. I wanted you to look at... we're going to skip all those. The last thought that I want to leave you with is this grafting idea. Grafting was used in trees to help manipulate and determine where and how the tree would grow. So they could take parts of a tree and place it somewhere else, but they could also take the tree and snip and prune and really make it so that the fruit had the best opportunity to grow. I'd like you to consider the grafting that the Lord has done in your life. What things has he tried to cut out of your life to help you bear more?